you went and saw Lightyear and Minions. There's a
Yep.
lot of discussion going on online about this because Lightyear has not performed well at all. It's been out for a week and a half, 2 weeks,
Yep.
and it has grossed just 105 million domestically. These are just domestic numbers. And Minions has only been out for 3 days and has already grossed $108 million. So in just 3 days, which worldwide it's $202 million. So what's going on here? A lot of people are making the comparison. They thought Lightyear didn't do good because families may not be comfortable going back to the theaters. Oh, Minions is proving that wrong. So what are your thoughts having seen them? I've not seen either.
Well, it's not an apples for apples comparison, I feel like, because even though saying this is Toy Story, it's still it kind of merges the two things. Like they say that new Pixar properties like Luca and like Coco are a little bit harder if people don't have a familiarity with the subject matter to bring them back into theaters. That's why the sequels do so well. And really, even though Lightyear is connected to it, it's still a newer property and a newer story. So I think we might have even talked about this. There's whole videos online of Chris Evans really struggling to describe what this movie is.
Yeah, he can't even articulate it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because then the opening of the entire film is the simplest, most basic description of it that is necessary for the film, which is like in 1995, a boy bought a toy for his favorite movie. This is that movie. It's just like, that's all we really needed. But there's so much context needed to connect it to Lightyear or to Toy Story that it's not a true sequel or prequel in the sense of that. It's not like as tightly connected to the original story. Toy Story universe, is that a thing? Are we saying? I know Pixar universe. Pixar universe theory. If anyone wants to go Google that. So it really was a new story, and the focus was so heavy on how is this connected to Toy Story, and it wasn't people just wanting to watch this story because it looked like an interesting story. I felt like I think that's where it lost a little bit of it. Minions. It's so basic. Like, I didn't even have to really convince my son. It was like, we're going to go watch the Minions from Gru just do random stuff. Literally, that's it. I don't care what they do. I don't even care what the storyline is. We're just going to go watch Minions being Minions. And there's more Gru in this. There's a lot more younger Gru in the newer Minions movie. And I think that's some of the level of it. You were able to turn your brain off. Like some things you want to turn your brain on and think and whatever. A lot of times movies, I just want to turn it off. And I want, what's the basic idea? Why do people go to Jurassic World? It's dinosaurs.
I just want to see dinosaurs
attacking each other. And we forgot, what was I think someone said the adage is every Jurassic World movies is the dinosaurs get out. And we all realize that we shouldn't have made them in the first place. That's what it is. Minions saying gobbledygook and being funny, and there's a little bit of Gru in there. Great, awesome, I'm in. This movie, Lightyear, it's a space astronaut, but it looks like he's stuck on a planet somewhere. But it's heavily connected to Lightyear, but it's not really Lightyear. There's just too many layers of understanding, and that's before you even go see the film. I think that was really what was hurting it to get into the movie.
Even just from a marketing standpoint, Minions has been everywhere. Lightyear was not pushed super heavy.
Oh, okay.
Minions, you had Steve Carell on everything, and Steve Carell is just going to sell anything. And also, right before the movie came out, Julie Andrews won the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award. And so she's been on doing a whole bunch of press, and she's in Minions. She's the voice of his mother. And so you had Julie Andrews and Steve Carell like on everything going around talking up this movie. And then with Lightyear, You had Chris Evans show up on a few things, and the whole time Chris Evans can't even articulate the movie that he's the star character of. Yeah. You're just like, you're not selling me on this one, buddy. So I think, people wanted to go to the theaters, but they're going, is that what I want to go out for? Is that because to take a kid to the theater is no easy task.
It's a commitment. It's a commitment. I have to buy popcorn just to keep him occupied. I also this time went and got like a small thing of M&Ms for us to share as well, just like as a secondary, like once this one's done. And this time I was very specific in making sure I waited till several previews had happened before we busted out the popcorn, just making sure we could actually get through it. And but to the credit of the movie, in the other films we had watched and that I'd taken him to, somewhere around 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way, he starts drifting. He starts looking around. He starts looking back at the people behind us and other things like that. And I got to kind of rein him in. He was just into this the entire time because it's just minions being silly and doing fart jokks. And when he left, he's like, he kept on talking about how he saw one of the minions' butt. Because my son is 5 years old. That's what he's into right now. Is that. And the Lightyear just isn't. It's not a kid's movie. Actually, it's very much. There's not a lot of funny. It's not a lot of. Not that I'm saying it wasn't funny or lighthearted. It's just a way different sell than Minions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like there was so for me, like not trying to give too much away, there was actually moments in Lightyear where I got a little teared up from the relationship of him losing his a key figure in his life in there, and it's a key crucial role in his direction. But it's got more adult themes of responsibility, and I was responsible for this crew getting off this planet, and now it's up to me to solve it. And just there's a lot of great themes in the film, but if you're talking about which one would I turn on for my kid, it's an easy decision to say Minions instead. I think that's why parents just flocked to it, because it was just this is easier. We can just put this in front of them, and they're coming out 2 weeks apart. Also meant that it was like we kind of got to make a choice.
You got to pick which one are you going to do,
Minions or Lightyear, and for us, we chose Minions.
Yeah. No, I am sad because I love Pixar.
Oh yeah, so excited to finally see a Pixar movie in theaters again. So that's the downside to this.
This is going to hamper that. This is going to hamper that going
Eddie,
forward.
If we go back to only straight to Disney Plus, I'm going to be so sad now. Just forewarning you, you're going to get sad, JV, on this podcast.
Without going too deep into it, I think that no one part of Disney / Pixar is completely to blame for this. I think there are multiple things that they just didn't know their audience in putting out this movie on multiple levels. And again, it is a sign of a lot of things. I think Disney is in they've kind of lost their way a little bit right now in understanding their audience and their clientele. But I also things have a way of balancing themselves back out, and I think several years from now we'll look at this differently. But I think Lightyear is just another example of that. So many parts of the company just don't understand who their audience is.
Yeah, going from 51 million down to 17 million down to 6 million in subsequent weekends. That's not what franchise properties do, and that's not what Pixar does. That's not what Pixar does.
And I mean, that's what's sad is I think this is officially the first flop of Pixar.
It's under The Good Dinosaur currently right now.
It's made less than The Good Dinosaur. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
They're kind of this sad. I hope they're looking at this and go, no, please no. Like, make some changes, do the right thing, because I really hope that my biggest thing is it's the biggest thing I was complaining about. I just want us to have Pixar movies to go see in theaters, and I hope they don't do a Solo where they like oh, people didn't like this, so let's reel it back in and not do this. They're still going to make movies, but I hope they don't take it all back to Disney Plus, because that sucks. It was great seeing it's just great. I love seeing it. That's why we love summer movies. It's because they were big in theaters, can go experience it in all the glory that it is.